Today, we've landed in a special place right here in Southern California, Redlands. Ever heard of it? Well, it's about time, so we're going to dive into what makes this city a hidden treasure for retirees. Why Redlands, you ask? Imagine waking up to sunny skies, wandering through historic neighborhoods, and being part of a warm community. Sounds good, right? We're here to take a closer look at everything from housing to getting around to what the weather is like year-round. And as always, I'm going to share my pros and cons because what works for me may not work for you. So whether you're seriously scouting for your retirement destination or you just love seeing new places, stick around and let's check this place out together. Who knows? Redlands just might steal your heart. Now let's zoom out a bit and see where Redlands fits into the beautiful landscape of Southern California. This city isn't just about the charm within its borders, it's also about where it sits on the map. Nestled just a stone throw away from the bustling cities of Los Angeles, and yet worlds apart, Redlands offers a unique blend of accessibility and tranquility. To the north, the majestic peaks of Big Bear beckon with their snow-covered slopes in the winter and trails in the summer. Head south, you'll find yourself breathing in the salty air of Southern California's renowned beaches, perfect for those sunny days when nothing but sand between your toes will do. And let's not forget the national treasures like Joshua Tree National Park, a mere day trip away, where the desert comes alive with its iconic twisted trees and stunning sunsets. But what about Redlands itself? The city is steeped in history, founded in the late 19th century, and has since grown into a vibrant community with a strong sense of preservation. From its early days as a citrus empire fueling the city with its Orange Belt fame, to its evolution into a cultural and educational hub, Redlands has always been a place where the past and present coexist beautifully. So, as you can see, Redlands isn't just a city, it's a gateway to the vast and varied landscapes of Southern California, with a rich history that's as fascinating as the land itself. So let's dive deeper and discover what it's like to live, play, and maybe retire in this picturesque city. When it comes to finding a place to call home, Redlands offers something special: diversity. Whether you're searching for a cozy apartment or a sprawling estate, this city caters to every taste and every budget. But before we dive into the homes themselves, let's talk numbers and neighborhoods. In Redlands, housing costs can vary wildly, reflecting the diverse character of the city itself. Overall, you'll find that the market can accommodate a wide range of financial situations. In the scenic South Redlands, the charm is undeniable, with tree-lined streets and historic homes that tell the story of the city's rich past. Here, it's not uncommon to find stunning Victorian mansions and meticulously maintained craftsman bungalows. North Redlands, on the other hand, offers a more modern vibe with newer construction and bustling community feel, often at a more accessible price point too. So let's start with what a mid-range budget can get you here. If you look at this well-appointed home, it's priced in the mid-$500,000 range. Even at this price, the attention to detail and the sense of community is evident. For those seeking the pinnacle of luxury, Redlands does not disappoint. From sprawling estates to custom homes with every amenity imaginable, the sky's the limit. But what if you're looking for something a bit more urban? Downtown Redlands has you covered. Like this apartment right near the YMCA for $1,250. You can live in the heart of the city, steps away from local cafes, shops, and the bustling energy of downtown life. Or for those seeking upscale amenities with the convenience of city living, the Circa offers a premium experience complete with modern finishes, a fitness center, and easy to access to the Mountain Grove Shopping Center. All right, so now that we've had an overview and we saw that Redlands is nestled in the heart of Southern California with access to beaches and mountains and deserts, And we've looked a little bit at the housing, from the craftsman houses all the way up to the multi-million-dollar mansions overlooking the valley. It's time to talk about lifestyle. What would it look like if we actually retired here in Redlands? I will say the weather, while we'll go into it a little deeper later, plays a big part. This is very much a place for outdoor enthusiasts because it is nice year-round. Whether you're a golfer or a hiker or a tennis player, pickleball, you name it, the weather really lends itself well to an outdoor active lifestyle. But if that's not your scene, there is a lot for people who want to continue learning with the university and historical societies and a wonderful library. There's a little bit of everything. There's boutique shopping down on State Street. There's also your, I don't want to say regular, but you know, like when you got to go to Target and just like get paper towels, there's just nothing fancy about that. We have Mountain Grove has everything you would need, from movie theaters to your Target and Costco and all of those good things. So there really is everything you could want in terms of what your lifestyle would look like. Whether you're into having a cup of coffee at Martha's Green Room on State Street, or if you want to have a game of pickleball down at Ford Park, there is something for everybody here. All right, since I've hinted at the weather, let's really get into it. This is going to be on my pro list. It is when I talk about the lifestyle. It is when I talk about pretty much everything about Redlands. It is one of the parts that makes it a hidden gem. And I think maybe that's why people are keeping it a secret, because they don't want everybody to flock here. It is really nice year-round. In the winter, the envy of anywhere that's not in Southern California. In the summer, it's definitely not as cool as it would be at the beach, but there's still a cool breeze here. So it makes the heat a lot more tolerable than if we're talking about like a Palm Springs or a desert area. So really year-round, it is just gorgeous. In the spring, the flowers are blooming, and it is cool temperatures. Rarely you need more than a light sweater. And the fall is equally, you have the crisp mornings, crisp evenings, just gorgeous weather year round. So there's not much more I can say about weather, except it is definitely a selling point for Redlands. All right, we're kind of getting to the end of our review, but let's talk about getting around. This usually kind of comes up a little earlier, but I was so focused on the weather that I sort of left it out. So we're gonna put it in now. The downtown, so State Street, that is where the historic area is, the YMCA, the shopping, that is pretty walkable. However, like I say in pretty much most of my videos, if you're running to Costco, you've got a doctor's appointment, you're gonna need a car. Especially if you want to enjoy the beaches and the desert and the mountains and everything that this area offers, you're gonna need a car. I will say, compared to other places I've reviewed, I think it does a nice job in, one, having the downtown. If you were living in an apartment, you could probably get away with not having it, because the metro also is downtown and links into LA and then beyond. So you could hop on the metro, take that train down to Union Station, and you'd be in LA, get the city life, and then come back to the peace and quiet of Redlands. So it is a nice balance. But overall, it's going in my non-walkable, need a car category. All right, we've come to that section where I want to talk about the pros and cons. What works for me may not work for you. Overall, I would say Redlands has a lot in the pro list. First of all, the weather. I've said it many times, but I'll say it again. It is pretty spectacular year-round, so that's definitely in the pro list. The next on the pro list would have to be, in terms of Southern California, so don't get me wrong, it's pricey, but in terms of Southern California, you get a pretty good value for the price here. So I'm putting that in the pro list because it's really hard to find a neighborhood, town, place that you could call home in Southern California that isn't starting in the $1 million mark. And then there's one, education. I'm not quite sure how to word that one. Continued learning? I don't know. I'm 54, so I shouldn't think about going back to school, but I'm always kind of thinking about learning. I'm trying to create a video right now. I've got a lot to learn. But this town has a lot. It has the University of Redlands. It has historical societies. There are events going on at the library. There is a lot for people who are interested in woodworking, golf lessons, history, art, technology. So that is definitely a pro. Any kind of continuing education is a plus in my book. And it has access, I have not covered in the video, and gosh, I really need to. Loma Linda is I guess a city unto itself right next to Redlands, and Loma Linda, wow, I might have to edit that. Loma Linda University is some of the best medical in the world, and it is right at your doorstep if you retire here. Within Redlands, they also have a great hospital and medical care, so that is another plus because that is something we need to think about as we are going in that aging direction. So as you can see, there are a lot in the pros column, but I want to be as transparent as possible, and I want to give you as broad of a picture as possible. So now let's talk a little bit about the cons or maybe considerations. So even though it was in my pro column, I gotta say, it's Southern California. It is going to be very difficult to find any kind of housing that doesn't go in that pricey column. And with that comes the cost of living. Everything seems to be a little higher when you're looking at Southern California. So even though it's in my plus, I've got to also put it in my consideration because the reality is it's Southern California prices. And then the other con is not necessarily the most walkable. Again, I'm not quite sure what I'm picturing when I want a walkable place, but I would like to ideally have a place where I can get on a metro or something like that and get to places. And while that happens here for the day-to-day, you would need a car. All right, so as we wrap up, we have covered housing, lifestyle, getting around, the gorgeous weather, and the pros and cons. What are your thoughts? Is Redlands someplace you've ever thought of? Is this a hidden gem? Are they keeping it a secret for a reason? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to tune in for the next time when we visit. No, I'm not going to tell you where we're going to visit. You're just going to have to tune in. All right, see you then.